Thanks to all of you that submitted your questions for this Wednesday Q&A edition on OTRSCentral. If you want your questions answered in this Q&A series that happens every Monday and Wednesday and Friday on this channel, the information on how to do so is in the description box down below. Let us get started. Also, make sure I've posted my most recent article for ProFootballSpot.com about the Chicago Bears 5 Keys to Success for 2014. Make sure you check it out. If you want to know my thoughts on the NFL and NBA and other hot-button political topics, check out my Schleg Daddy TV channel here on YouTube. That information will also be in the description box below. Some good questions here, so let's get started. At John Cena is a tool, nice Twitter handle, has 2 questions that I thought were important to answer. Who do you think is the top 5 wrestlers from the PG era, and do you think any of them would be the top 5 in the Attitude Era? Top 5 guys from the PG era would probably be, in any particular order, John Cena, Randy Orton, Dave Bautista, Triple H, and probably CM Punk. Would any of them be the top 5 in the Attitude Era? Triple H would be, yes. CM Punk, maybe? Batista, maybe. I'm not so sold on Cena or Orton. And his other question was, did you hear TNA might switch back to the six-sided ring as soon as Thursday on Impact? What's your thoughts, and should they do it? You know, it's kind of one of these things. It's like, after all this time, why go back to it? And why do it as such a knee-jerk reflex reaction? Why not build up to this over a period of time? I mean, if they want to fucking do it at this point, they're in a position. What is it really going to hurt? So if that's what they want to do, and if it's a nice gesture that pleases some of the older fans and brings some of the older fans back, at least for the short term, then why not do it? What the hell? What does TNA have to lose at this point except more viewers? They can't lose much more, I wouldn't think. At JGore492, your thoughts on Chuck Noll, and where do you rank him as one of the greatest NFL head coaches of all time? Chuck Noll, obviously the coach of the 70s, one of the truly great NFL head coaches of all time, the only head coach in NFL history to win 4 Super Bowls. That steel curtain defense and Steelers team in general, the 1970s, was dominant, winning 4 Super Bowls in a 6-year stretch. In terms of where I would rank him in the all-time echelon of NFL head coaches, I would probably rank him below Lombardi, below Palace, definitely top 5, maybe top 3. There you go. At MBF BCC 22, how do you think Cena would have done in WCW? His rapper gimmick might have been given a shot, but the current incarnation of Cena in WCW back in the day would have fell flat on its face, so I don't think it would have worked at all, and he wouldn't have done very much at all. Unless he was the prototype, then that's a different story. At the Mad Stork 83, which defensive team was better, the 1985 Chicago Bears or the 2000 Baltimore Ravens? The Baltimore Ravens, it's true, allowed fewer points per game than the 85 Bears did. I think the 85 Bears faced a better schedule in terms of level of competition than that 2000 Ravens team did. The Bears were more dominant as a defense in the playoffs, allowing only 10 points in 3 games. Statistically, overall, you look at the overall talent, I'll go with the 85 Bears, even though the Ravens of 2000 were a great all-time defense, no question about it. Sorry, Mad Stork. I know you were hoping maybe I would say the Ravens. At Justin M, 727-82214. Who would you rather see make a Royal Rumble appearance in 2015? Vader, Sid, or Razor Ramon? Razor Ramon, stoned or sober? No, I'm kidding. Sid! The possibilities of him going over the top rope are endless. Sid, baby. Yuri Ambassador, have you ever watched Hulk Hogan's Rock and Wrestling or an episode of Adult Swim's China? Ill with the Dean? No, don't watch Adult Swim. And yes, I grew up watching Hulk Hogan's Rock and Wrestling. So there you go. At KCCO_UK, do you think a superhero gimmick would work in today's WWE, seeing as there is a growing audience for superheroes? The way WWE writes, the way WWE books currently, no. If they did a better job of writing, if they did a better job of booking, would a superhero gimmick work? Oh, absolutely. You can see they tried to do a superhero gimmick with John Cena, but it just ends up blowing up in their face in a lot of ways. I think a superhero gimmick would work, but it would have to be one of those tweener type of superheroes, a Wolverine type more so. But I think it could work, yes. At Moody Mexican, has all of Bray Wyatt's momentum been killed after the last 3 pay-per-views with Super Cena? It certainly hasn't been helped. It's been hurt to a degree. I don't know if all of the momentum of the character has been killed because he is incredibly over. The crowd is incredibly interested in him. And frankly, to my surprise, I didn't realize that Bray Wyatt was the internet's favorite right now, not Daniel Bryan. So all of the momentum has not been killed. Some of the momentum, yes, it has been killed. At Luis Roulette, why the fuck is Ambrose the only one upset at Rollins and Reigns just wants the title all of a sudden? Now, this is for 2 purposes. Number 1, because this wasn't really planned out long term. This was a knee-jerk reflex reaction to turn Seth Rollins heel and to split up the Shield. That was number 1. Number 2, I think they wanted to send Reigns at that WWE World Heavyweight Championship so that way maybe Triple H can get involved, and that's the platform for them to have their match coming up at SummerSlam perhaps. And they wanted to get to Dean Ambrose versus Seth Rollins because they know that could be a money feud, and it looks like it could be a money feud. So it could end up working positively, but I get what you're saying because it is a fair question. Reigns seemed to not be bothered at all by anything pertaining to Seth Rollins. It's like, where the fuck is the storyline consistency with this shit? At Rick Styles 1985, if Bobby Heenan was still managing today, who would you like to see him manage? Several guys. Cesaro would definitely be one. Ryback would be another one. Rusev would be another one. I'd like to see him manage some of these bigger monsters, maybe some of these guys that don't need to talk. He'd be able to get a lot more out of them, in my opinion. So I look at a stable. Imagine a Heenan family today of, let's say, Cesaro, Rusev, Cesaro, Rusev, Ryback, and then maybe you throw in a Wade Barrett. So you got that one guy in the Heenan family that can actually talk for himself, and Heenan just kind of, puts him over the top. That's a hell of a fucking Heenan family, especially because in large part Bobby Heenan would be involved managing them. Still, the greatest manager in the history of professional wrestling, not fucking Paul Heyman. At We Are Pro Wrestling, would you consider doing a top 5 NBA players per franchise series like your top 5 NFL players per franchise series? Maybe. I mean, I guess it's possible. Do I have a desire to do it right now? No. Problem with it is during the NBA's off season, where I might consider doing it like in August or September, the NFL starts to come into being. And as a result, that takes up the primary focus and attention for me when it comes to non-wrestling related topics. I won't rule it out, though. That might be something that appears on the Schleg Daddy TV YouTube channel coming up down the road. There will probably be more NBA-related videos as time goes along, as I'm actually finding a little bit more passion for talking about the NBA again, and it seems like those NBA videos tend to get a pretty good response compared to some of the other videos I do, so I'd be foolish not to consider continuing doing them as long as I'm enjoying doing them, that is. At C. Pivcac, if John Cena had to suddenly retire, do you think it would hurt the WWE or will it have no effect? Initially it would hurt them tremendously because so many things that they do are all pigeonholed towards John Cena and all pointing towards John Cena. So short term, it would definitely have negative consequences and repercussions. Long term, it could possibly be the best thing that would ever happen to the damn company because they'd have to focus on other things and they couldn't fall into some of the bad predictable habits they have over the past few years. And at SaberFan84 closes out this Q&A with, did you laugh your butt off when Stephanie McMahon barfed on Vicky? Number 1, I'm not fully convinced that was vomit. I believe that could have been the doo-doos. Number 2, no, I didn't laugh my butt off. I just didn't have any desire to see any vomit gags. I mean, it was just dumb. You could tell it was Vince's fingerprints all over. It was just unnecessary and uncalled for. And if you've got to resort to that when your product is supposed to be PG and that's the best you could do in terms of getting a laugh or having a gag, then you need to rethink your priorities, in my opinion. So, no, I didn't think it was funny. I thought it was fucking stupid. It's something different, if it was like, let's say, somebody will say, what about the Attitude Era where Jericho was pissing in Regal's coffee or choppy pee-pee? Yeah, but again, that type of stuff you expected in that era. That type of stuff fit the times, and that type of stuff was executed so much better than this crap was on Raw Monday, period. So again, thanks to all of you that watch this Q&A. Thanks to all of you that submitted your questions for the Q&A. You want to know how to get your questions answered every Monday, Wednesday, Friday? Check out the description box down below, as well as my newest article about the Chicago Bears and their 5 keys to success for 2014 on ProFootballSpot.com. Check out my Schleg Daddy TV YouTube channel. Make sure you give this show a follow on Twitter. At OTRSCentral is the Twitter handle. Stay tuned for other great content here on OTRS Central throughout the week, and I'll be back again with another Q&A episode on Friday. So make sure you guys take to Twitter and start asking those questions.